How's it going, everybody? Jason Croft here, and continuing our series of what's working now during these wild, crazy times, as evidenced by the wild, crazy hair in quarantine times. Welcome, Tomas. Thanks for jumping in with us for this.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. A pleasure to be on and love the work that you're doing and wish you were still in Dallas, but it sounds and looks like that Denver, Colorado and is gained a lot of value with your presence.
Well,
So
thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tomas and I linked up, year or two ago now from the great Julian Placino, who we
yeah,
always have to pay homage to, right?
for sure. Hey, absolutely. Gotta give credit where it's due. Yeah.
And I think what's
I feel like we have this like network of there's a number of us, but I feel like we all are all doing something, and then we just exchange notes and provide insights to each other, and it's awesome to visit and share these stories and learn from each other. I think it's fantastic. So I'm appreciative,
absolutely, and
to
and
be in that group.
well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's why I wanted to have you on here. There's probably 100 different things that I could speak to you about on how you've
Yeah,
built a network and been so purposeful with that. But I really wanted to talk today about this transition to Project 202 that you've just made from the banking world over there. The timing of it all was just phenomenal with what the state of things that we're in to start a new job
yeah,
right now. It may sound like, oh, that guy's lucky, uh, but none of it would have been in place without the tremendous effort and the network that you just talked about, that you just described, that group of us that are so purposeful with connecting. None of that would have happened otherwise. So I want you to give the folks a quick background on you and your former industry, and then leading up into the Project 202 now.
no, absolutely. Thank you. So first generation immigrant came to US in '06. Studied and played basketball at SMU. Was very fortunate, to have that experience. Upon graduation and getting a degree in marketing, I spent some time at Ernst and Young. Then went back to grad school. To be able to stay in the country, I had to fall back on that plan. Worked at the university during that time, doing some strategic relations primarily and partnerships with employers all over DFW. That's where I actually met Julian that we've mentioned. He was the former employer at the time, and that experience has really made me grow up as a man, as a professional. But helped me buy some time from an immigration perspective. I had to kind of rebound and reshape the trajectory of my career yet again. And I was in financial services. I worked, for one of the biggest community banks in Texas, and I'm definitely very grateful for that experience. But as I wrapped up, the journey to become a permanent resident, it was time to really, take my career to a more purposeful level, and that's where Project Two came to place. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. And I do have a genuine hope that it will help me take my career vertical.
Absolutely. Describe Project 202 and the work they're doing.
This is my third week on the job. But in essence, what we are doing, we are focusing on experience-driven transformations from a digital perspective for the benefit of our clients. It's like, employee happiness versus, customer engagement. If employees are happy, customers will be happy, and we'll get testimonials, we'll get more business, and everybody will be super pumped. So I think that's kind of my assessment. But ultimately, we are driving better experiences through custom software development on an end-to-end basis for the benefit of primarily enterprise-sized companies.
That's awesome. Describe to folks kind of that story of going into this, because I think that alignment is fantastic, and all the strengths that you have of it goes beyond just the quote unquote normal networking kind of things. You've jumped in and taken such a proactive approach to from creating content around things with video content on your own, and because of all that purposefulness, what led to the opportunity in the first place. Describe to folks kind of what happened there.
Yes. So no, I appreciate you saying all this. I've always been big about, community engagement, involvement, just being able to associate yourself with some peers that do similar things. And without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. Without the help of many people, and Project 202 specifically, came super organically. It was, I think it was February, and I just attended another event. And as we were talking off the record, our friend Julian was hosting it for the benefit of one of his clients, the One Source Group, and the speaker was our Project 202's head of HR. And when I didn't know her at the time, but we had a lot of connections on LinkedIn. I looked, who she is, and I always like to know who's the speaker and introduce myself to the speaker after the event. I think that's everybody should do it. Great presentation on importance of culture, something that I was looking for in my kind of my search as I was reviewing different inquiries, and was fortunate people were calling trying to see if I want to work for them. And I'm like, has never happened. Like in the past, I had to literally beg for people to interview me because of these immigration obstacles that I was facing. So the fact that this weight of my shoulders was dropped to feel wanted, I was like, this is huge. It was almost surreal, right? And with that, I think what has to be highlighted is just, you have to be purposeful about it. You have to be patient, and I think that's what it took for me. And when I met Karen, I asked her if we could visit over coffee. I was intrigued with her story, her passionate about the topic of culture that is also very close to my heart, and we kind of bonded. And next thing you know, I was able to secure a few more interviews, and then Corona hits, and I think I had 6 interviews or so via Zoom, and the rest is history. And I was just grateful that in the middle of COVID-19 kind of pandemic, I was hired, and I'm like onboarded fully remotely, getting to know colleagues, trying to learn material, really ramp up as a sales professional. I'm grateful, man. It's been a wild journey, but it's kind of all those little things that you talk about. When you have an opportunity, taking a night off, going to an event, when you have there's a breakfast meeting that the company can send you to, and you go to it. When you have a luncheon you can attend, you decide to go to it, and perhaps make a sacrifice for not doing something else. So all that kind of, builds up over time. And, I guess sometimes cards align. The timing was perfect. And yeah, I guess, like I said, the rest is history. So I look forward really to this journey on my new, employer and company.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's really what I wanted the takeaway here being is that purposefulness and all of that. Because you could have even gone through all the motions of getting to the event and all that and sat in the back and said, oh yeah, that was fun, and walk out the door. And none of this would have happened, right? I appreciate you sharing that. I'm excited for your new journey for sure. Everybody check out your podcast. Tell them about your podcast, where they can find it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the Tomasz Show. It's my first name, TOMASZ Show. One thing, if I may highlight also, that is something that is very undervalued still, is people getting acquainted and spending time on a platform that we both know what it is, LinkedIn. And I'm not saying, spend hours on it, but, be disciplined and set 30 minutes or an hour, if not a day, then per week, to really get your profile up to speed, to start building some relationships. You can't even go to events right now. Like, how are you going to network if you don't use this platform, right? I know I'm going on tangent, but this is something what I really want to highlight for your audience is ability to connect with people despite the circumstances, because this is one of those little bricks that you can add to your building as you build a platform, and you have those fundamentals, and then brick by brick you will get somewhere. But you have to take advantage of this time and not make excuses. If you have a goal and objective in mind and I can help meet it or help you get there, please reach out. I'll be happy to do my best to help you out.
Tomasz, thank you so much for being on. This is fantastic. Wish you all the best, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure.